I head the division called UX Labs, and so we conduct, we are brought into user research, user testing, interaction design, information architecture, the entire UCD process. So I'm gonna actually talk about UX strategy in terms of how if it's strategized well, if it's if the right methodologies and the right processes are taken care of, then I'm just gonna complement that with a live case study. So I think IndusInd my account, my number. You guys should be knowing it, right? The latest proposition in terms of you can actually create your own account number. You can personalize your card. So IndusInd, IndusInd is a client partner, and we have an account with them. And basically, so what they came up with is, the vision was to build a unique brand proposition where they not only allow a customer to select their account, but actually select the account number of their choice, and also a lot of personalization in terms of debit card. You can personalize and everything, and actually funding the account online. So this is actually one kind of a unique proposition which I think nobody has done in India so far. I think what it come close to Kotak and Yes Bank, which they are doing it, but not to an extent of you can actually personalize everything online. And the greater challenge was to be a benchmark in this domain, right? And to be the only kind of a service provider. So that was a bigger challenge for us, because first of all, it involves a lot of transactions in terms of funding the account online. So once that piece comes into the picture, then there's a lot of trust factor. There's a lot of the brand trust towards the consumer. Like if you're actually funding the account online and opening an account online. So what was the business strategy? As I said, they wanted to be number one in terms of giving this kind of a unique proposition. What is it? So you can actually have your birthday as an account number. You can have your mobile number as an account number. You can have your car registration as an account number. You can have your family pic on the debit card, right? So there's a lot of combinations which they wanted to do, along with just not creating an account, like a normal account online. So what happened is, we created, and since we have a full account with them, so we have actually redesigned their complete website. If you look at IndusInd.com, we have right from the user segmentation to visual design to making it live. We have taken a complete project in terms of the account, and this was one of the piece in the entire project, which was like a separate project in itself. So we already had this kind of personas created when we were actually doing the website redesigning with them, right? So a persona where one is a college student who wants to open a first-time account with a bank. One is a housewife, because normally nowadays banking, since the husbands are in office, they want to take up with that, but they don't have time to visit the branch, so they want to do it online. One is a businessman who wants to open account either for himself or for his wife or spouse. So those kind of scenarios, and we came up with the aspirations, we came up with the banking needs, and why a person would actually come online and open an account. I mean, normally you go to Flipkart and Amazon to buy stuff, but why would someone actually come here and open the account online? What is so unique about it? So this is something which is interesting. So the client, what they came up and said, like, we'll do focus groups. I said, why? What do you want to achieve with the focus groups? No, because we don't have that much money and time, and we want like 15 people in one room and they can start giving their ideas. So what I did was, actually I showed them this video.
Idea and ask for your opinion. Thank you for your time and welcome to our focus group. Today we're going to show you an idea and ask for your opinion. This is called a wheel. Now, according to its developers, it'll change the way we work and live. Why? Because it rolls. It can also be added to wagons to make moving a heavy load easier. Your opinions?
If it rolls, that means it could roll away and get lost, right? Or it could roll over your foot It's the round shape that disturbs me. It's very feminine. I can't imagine any caveman wanting to be seen with that.
I wouldn't.
And this added to Rackham's thing, it sounds very complicated. Is there an easier version? Do you know what? Do you have it in square?
No square.
If there was a square one,
Yeah.
it didn't roll. Then maybe I would think about buying one. Nice try.
Believe me, the next question from the client was, when can we do the UT? Right? So I come to the UT piece along with how the UX strategy formed. So, and definitely there was a considerable sign off on why we shouldn't do a focus group. And believe me, I was not there when I was taking the interview. So why we shouldn't do a focus group and why we should go with a UT which is one-on-one, and basically it's more individual approach towards a user rather than calling everybody in one room, because you might get influenced, you can, your ideas might get killed straight away, right? So we started with requirement gathering, which is a kind of a research process. Then we started defining the user journeys in terms of the link with the personas I showed you before. Creating the robust information architecture, because it had a lot of complexity in terms of when it comes to paying stuff, when money is involved online. Wireframes, high fidelity prototype, which we actually tested in the usability lab. So what I'm going to focus more on, so these are just the wireframes and how the visual designs are converted later. What I'm going to focus more on is how the UT actually happened, right? So what we did was, because we had the personas, we know the target audience, we had a pool of 16 users, and basis the personas segmentation. So entrepreneurs, right? Students, professionals, and housewife. That was actually the mix of the people we called in. There were more than 16 users, but we actually validated with 16 users because some of the feedback was not, it wasn't the quality which we were looking for in terms of how things should flow. So basically these are the tasks which we actually tested with the users, and post that we had one-on-one interviews with them. This is how a usability lab model looks like, where you have a one-way mirror, when the observer and the note takers sit there and observe how the user behaves. There's a recording which happens, so it records the facial behavior as well as the screen capture which goes along with it, and the actual observer can take notes, live notes, while this has been done. So these are, some of the task-based performance we evaluated with them. I will go quickly for this size because I want to show you the video as well, like, how I showed you a focus group video, and actually I want to show you a live, when we did the testing, I want to show you the video with actual users and how they actually gave the feedback, right? So this is basically one of the task-based performance when you actually do a quantitative analysis. So user testing is on 2 data points, one is quali and one is quanti. Quali is, when you talk to them, you get the feedback in terms of how things are, how things should be. And these are the numbers. So when you ask them the right questions in terms of, how was the process of selecting the account online? What do you think about the personalization piece? So they rated this on a scale of 1 to 4. They rated this on a scale of 1 to 4, and this was the overall ranking or rating 3.68, which is an acceptance from the user in terms of, and this is the breakup of each one of the tasks with respect to all the 16 participants. This, so that was an overall rating, and this from the subsequent slides is basically a participant-wise breakup. So like Rajiv, Dinesh, Prasad, so they all had their views in terms of how an account number of your choice, how easy was it to actually do that, selecting an account number or selecting the card, the personalization of the card, and so we have got 3.87. Which is pretty neat in terms of, if you look at a scale of 1 to 4. And these are some of the things they have said while actually doing a one-on-one interview with them. I'll just quickly move on to the slides. because these are all the tasks which we carried on with them. So the overall experience. So what we asked them is, opening an account online versus visiting the branch, and the acceptance was 3.93, and the overall navigation and ease of use. So if you just imagine if this was been done with a focus group, it would not have been possible. The reason is, I'll tell you why. Because if somebody has gone in and said, I didn't like it, he's not shy enough to talk about it if you're talking one-on-one. But if there are 10 people in a room and 2 of them didn't like the process, or they have some issues with the entire thing, they might not just be able to tell that, because 8 of them actually like it, right? So the focus group will always be biased towards the majority of the audience, and some of the speakers and some of the guys will be so influential that the others would actually keep quiet and do nothing. So this happened because we were actually doing them with one-on-one. So actually I'll show you some of the...
How did you find this concept of you being able to decide the account number?
That is very interesting and innovative, because till today what happens, generally you people give us, we have to fill the form, everything is done by you. But over here it is me who is doing everything. So that is very interesting basically. And it is something which is very personalized.
Selected here, but I did not look at that. So maybe that's so. Pay now and get rewarded. See, maybe it's written clearly, but it missed from me. I mean, I did not select. I had in my mind that okay, fine, I'll get something of that and then. So maybe if it's like pay now, if I select here, maybe I get a pop-up or something. I don't know.
So we got this. I mean, what happens is, they were pretty vocal about what actually problem they faced, and they were pretty much in terms of suggestive mode now. They were actually suggesting us how the thing should be designed, even though from a practitioner point of view, users are not designers. But we have to respect their opinions, because ultimately they are going to use it.
What I'm asking is that, do you think you are more comfortable with a person sitting with you and he filling it up for you, or you filling it up, or this was more comfortable?
I think this was more comfortable.
This was more comfortable.
Yeah, very easy.
Okay.
And you had an option, I saw, either you can attach the online documents,
Correct.
or there's an option wherein somebody will come to fill out or collect the documents.
Which one did you select?
I select online.
Okay.
Because everything, most of it, I have it soft copies on my laptop. So since it's there, I might as well complete it.
Okay.
So the process was very faster and easy to follow. Easy to implement.
How did you like this concept of you having the liberty of selecting the account number?
Very good. I think I get the full flexibility of choosing the number as per my choice. So to make it very similar to either my mobile number or birth date or my lucky or whatever you may call it. So I've got a lot of options because people follow that also. So very easy from the start to the...
So the one good thing happened is, we got a lot of changes in terms of designs. How a person would actually we got around 25 design changes, basis that we had to prioritize. So when we created this report and shared with the client, and since the client always have a tendency of going live as soon as possible, but when they saw this report, they actually hold on to their production, saying let's fix this first, let's not worry about being live. We can do this 1 week later as well. But so the overall, as a I don't know if you guys attended the workshop in this room, where the whole thing is value add. So what value add you can give to the client, rather than just accepting things that I need to go live on this date. If you can prove this, right, they are actually ready to take those aspects into consideration before making any moves which actually can harm them. So these are some of the closing comments we got from the client, from the users actually. So even though the process is a bit lengthy, but actually it explains everything and feels safe. Now, normally you measure usability in number of clicks, right? People say 5 clicks bad, 2 clicks is very good. It's not. actually, because if it involves like an e-commerce transaction where you're opening an account and it's more about security, they don't mind spending those 5 minutes on the site and doing those 5 or 6 clicks more, right? Because ultimately it's their money which has been going somewhere. So the whole myth about less number of clicks, better it is, it's not true in every case. Like overall concept is interesting and innovative, right? So it's basically talks about the goodies and some things which we already took care while we were actually observing. So so the next steps were after this was, as I said, we got around 25 design changes. So what the next step is, I mean, you can't fix all of them and then you take at least a month or two. So what we did was we prioritized the solutions for the issues founded. We made changes in design, development happened, and then when we went live, right? Not just so this exercise was not agnostic of okay, it's just one formality which we have to show to the stakeholders. Actually, it happened, and they actually were thankful enough for us not to go into the focus group and actually doing this, even though it costed them a little bit more money and maybe 2 weeks more of time, but actually it's worth now. And the reason I'm telling you it's worth is how we measure the success. So from April 27 to September 30th, this is the data which is actually come from the client. 1,189 accounts have been opened, which is I think approximately 8 accounts per day. Sounds like that. So it's like a mini branch, right? If you go to any branch, I mean, just ask them. I mean, they might open an account like 10 or 11 accounts a day, which is actually happening online. So it's like a mini branch which is acting for them, right? And everything a customer is doing online, not going to the branch. Only thing a branch person is coming to your house to sign the documents. That's it. As simple as that. So something about, as I said, before you have, I mean, guys, you want to have some questions, and should I just give you 5 minutes or so? Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with you on the concept of low number of clicks may not really be complicated. So in your experience, is it that for all e-commerce sites, should we give the customer enough number of clicks to be reassured saying they have chosen the right?
No, I'm not. It's contextual. So if you are building a site like Flipkart and Amazon, where people know exactly what they're buying, right? I mean, if I'm buying a mobile phone on a Flipkart, I would just add to cart and 2 easy steps and I'm done. You don't have to give me a gyan about what mobile phone is, the features and everything. So there are 3 type of users coming in. The guy who actually does the research, so spending more time. The guy who knows about the mobile phone, he will just actually put in the like Samsung S4 and just want to buy it. So for those customers, you can't actually expect them to, more number of clicks is better. This is contextual because here the customer doesn't know what he's getting in the end. Even though we are explaining everything right up front, like you can choose your account number, there's a process of selecting your, personalizing your card, you have to fund your account, but it's more, so you're not buying anything, even though it's e-commerce, you're not buying anything, you're actually investing in it. So that's the reason, I mean, I said we're contextually putting it together. The number of clicks is just a myth. You have to take a call as a practitioner where to apply this heuristic, right?
Go back to 2 slides. User test result is there.
Sure. This one, yeah.
Actually, like I had mentioned that even though the process is bit lengthy,
Yeah.
but actually it is explain everything and feel safe.
Correct.
But what she mentioned is lengthy. That is also the user problem.
It's a business.
Lengthy. Like,
No, exactly. It is lengthy because there's so many things you have to do. So tell me one thing. If you take your case, you go to a branch. You have open an account online by visiting a branch. So do people come in?
all the people.
Or maybe just try doing that. Seriously, I'm telling you. How much time you spend in a branch, right? Just try to open an account with all these features. Getting your own account number, personalizing your debit card, putting your family photos or your own photos or whatever that, all those gym band things they are promising. Just imagine how much time you will take in a branch. By going a branch, sitting there, coming back to your home or office, you might spend a day, which happens here maybe an hour. It's lengthy because it's a business. So it's a mix of business objectives and users objective, right? I mean, just because it's lengthy, I can't cut on the process because that is required. Some of the legal things, like for example, uploading your ID proof, your passport, everything is online. You're actually uploading your passport copies, your PAN card, address proof, everything online. So that will take some time, right? That's why she's saying lengthy, but at the same time she's saying it's safe. It's safe because I know what I'm doing, and you're telling me, you're guiding me the right way. So I think what gist you can take out of this is, so next time if we come up with some projects or products, something which is very lengthy, but if you can guide the user step by step, even that is okay, rather than cutting down on steps, because there might be some legal issues or especially with banking and insurance and mutual funds.
I have a question, like having an account, like after some time if the person is not using, making him to log out, is that a good way to follow in the system?
You're talking about this particular case or?
In general, like.
Session timeout.
Yeah, section.
We have this facility here as well.
Okay.
So if your session is timed out after a particular maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes, a reference number is generated and has been sent to your registered email ID which you have captured in the initial stage. Right? So what we are doing here is we are capturing leads in a very different way. So we are not saying give your name, mobile number, address and all in the first glance itself. In the first screen we are capturing email, in the second screen we are capturing mobile, in the third screen we are capturing address. So wherever the user breaks in, at least we have one parameter to fall back upon. So in case you break in the second step, we have the email ID captured, so we send a reference number to the user, and next time they log in, they can just use a reference number and they can start from the place where they have stopped.
Since you conducted usability test, there are some feedback and they even suggested that it could be like this, the interface could be like this. I might have expected a pop-up instead of doing this. So at the end of the all usability test, how you prioritize and how you make the changes?
So as I said, we don't, so we take feedback and suggestions from the users, but we don't design as per what they have said. So what we understand, so that's where the cognitive thinking comes in as a psychologist. You have to understand where the problem is. So that guy had a problem in selecting a particular gift, where after completing the transaction, the bank was actually promoting a gift if you pay online. So things were not connected together. So the gift was like a banner, and then paying online was a tab. So in all, we have to just understand what his problems are and design it, as per what you think is right. Right? It's just understanding the pain areas, simple as that. A pop-up might not be a good solution. Indigo Consulting is a digital end-to-end agency, right from user research to social media, SEO, development, everything. And UX Labs is one of the divisions in Indigo Consulting, which actually takes care of the entire user-centered design process. So right from research to doing UTs and conducting the user sessions, information architecture, wireframing entirely. Even though it's a separate division, but we still work together because all the projects which comes to Indigo has to go through UX as a practice. But there are some few projects like research and testing which UX Labs independently handle in their own way. So that's from my side. 30 seconds? Okay.
Yeah, 1 minute.
So I'll wrap up that 1 minute, right? Thank you guys.